Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. We left off in the middle of Cassia's quest line, where we'd just been sucked into a painting and got to see a bit of her past, where it was implied that her mother actually cloned a bunch of children. Cassia was the only viable one to survive, but due to limits on the time that her mother had for some reason, she had to go ahead with Cassia for her plans for the Atlas. And that all has taken place and led us to this system with an unknown planet. So let's head in and see what we can find out. Not surprisingly, we have a place to land at Palace of the Atlas. And of course, Cassie is coming with us. Granted, she comes with us everywhere because she makes us way more powerful. I don't know that anyone else would necessarily make this storyline better or have interesting connections to it. So I think our usual team is fine. Yeah. Alright. That looks like a whole lot of Eldari stuff. Crone World. So is this an Eldari homeworld, or is that just a generic screen they're showing? Nope, this is definitely an Eldari. At least this looks very Eldari to my eye. Okay, we have an option to leave, but there's no ship here, so I'm not sure what that leaving is. Presumably the ship picks us up. Okay, we can't head down that way. I think before we head up the main obvious direction we're supposed to go, let's check out some of these side directions.
Stand in my way.
Okay, this is an Eldari area, but we definitely have Imperium stuff. Climb down, tech use. Huh. An Eldari gate. Is that... I'm assuming that's the navigator's symbol? I'm not as familiar with navigators, but the fact that we have something that clearly looks Imperium, probably navigator, tied up between an Eldari gate is just weird. The Eldari Sanctum is blemished by human presence. In the pursuit of ancient secrets, the navigators had no qualms about filling the ruins with machinery and supplies. I assume we need to get down there to do this tech test. Okay, let's climb down then.
Centuries of service and practice.
Operation successful.
Elite Marksman's Gloves gives plus 15 to ballistics. Alright. What do you have? Whenever the wearer scores a critical hit with a ranged attack, their next attack against any target automatically hits and cannot be parried or dodged. It's possibly better than Elite Marksman's Gloves, depending on how often we crit, which I'm not certain on. Ballistics, I think, reduces their ability to dodge. No, is that perception? I don't know. We'll leave things as they are. The Lucilio navigators left no stone unturned in this Eldari temple. It is as if they were looking for something that they just could not find.
A space wolf never fails
It's
in
about
their
time.
duty.
So we know the Atlas is some sort of crystal, and now that we think it's related to Eldari, I'm definitely glad Irliet's here. But the Eldari have their soul stones, and I'm wondering if it's effectively a soul stone, because it is tying all of the family line together. which seems like a soul thing. So it might just be a perversion of the Eldari soulstone items. I don't know. Decayed pages. House Orsilio need not know what is taking place here. The navigators are frightened enough by its power as it is. The last experiment left 3 from Sethala clan without a shred of reason. Empty shells will bring no glory to House Orsilio or its lesser branch. We shall carry on. At last, we have managed to implant the artifact in subjects who can wield its power. Perhaps all the navigators who perished in the agonizing torrent of energy were merely a symptom of our decline. I am tired of counting the dead. The weak have no place among those who have harnessed the Atlas. Their abilities have grown manifold and become significantly easier to control and more effective at resisting the ruinous influence of the warp. It is all or nothing. Today is the day when my work is completed and the Starway Atlas takes its final form. The Sethalas have already undergone the operation. All that's left is me, the Atlas that controls them all. Today I become the greatest Novator in the history of House Orsilio, or I turn to nothing. This power is beyond compare. All it took was a whim to make the wretched Sethalas fall dead at my feet. It is as if I have a second heart beating in my chest, subjugating any with the ability to touch it. How regrettable it is that this power only extends to those Orsilio navigators who have accepted a piece of the Atlas within themselves. From now on, all children will be gifted with one at their initiation, and there will be no one who can match our greatness. So the theory, it gives the one with the primary Atlas control over all the others, but it sounds like it's also giving all the others more power among themselves. So it's not just inherently a tool just for the leader to control the others, but it was to make the whole house better. At least that's what it sounded like in my reading. The heart of the Navigator's camp. This is where Tisiphone Orsilio performed her experiments hundreds of years ago. Okay, let's head on up now.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
You are outdated and suboptimal. Your body has suffered deterioration and requires modification.
Funnily enough, I've grown rather attached to the old thing. Have patience. Someone will shoot me any minute now, and then you'll have your chance to upgrade me.
Grown attached to your body. Someone removed the data crypt from this dead machine to keep the house's secrets safe and leave no information about the experiments that took place here. Well, hopefully we find that data crypt elsewhere. Cool statue. Ooh, how do we get down there? Maybe we could have gone up that ladder and I just missed it.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Ruined statues once depicted pages from the long history of the Eldari. I want to go here. Yeah, okay, they're running all the way around. Well, good thing we saw that from up there. Lots of cool statues around. I do like the Eldari
Success was inevitable.
art style. It's cool. Plasma ring. Marvelous compact weapon in the form of a ring that allows the wearer to fire a plasma shot once per combat. We've seen several of those rings and never really found much use for them. A one-time attack per combat doesn't seem that impressive to me. I'd rather use those slots for something far more useful. Grenadier's backpack. The wearer and their allies are immune to damage from the wearer's grenades. The first time the wearer uses a grenade during their turn, they have a 50% chance not to expend the grenade. If I had someone who was regularly using grenades, that'd probably be more useful to me as well. But I don't. No, I wasn't trying to click on you, Ulfar. You were just not with the rest of the party. Okay. Halt, cursed child. We had to ally ourselves with the Xenos once more to stop you. No matter, it is a small price to pay for the liberation of House Ocilio from the chains of tyranny. Come on. I wasn't really wanting to... Wow, that guy just like skidded in. We followed the Atlas's call in your wake, child. Stand with us. House Ocilio will not trade Tisiphone's legacy for the false ideals of blind fools. Did the other guy say something and we just missed the dialogue? What is happening? Ah! Okay. Hopefully it doesn't kill Cassia. That would make me sad. Damn, Xenos. This was not the bargain we struck. Throne smite you. The navigator, whose skin is so thin that it reveals the muscle, bones, and innards underneath, clenches his augmented gold jaw in contempt. Well, obviously, I'm still standing by my assumption that the Atlas and connected relics are all based on Eldari tech, and they probably don't want humans, monkey, to be messing with it. So tricking you to come here so that they could slaughter you seems reasonable. Or this thing just did it on its own. What is this? The rogue trader and the traitors to the house have lured the child into a trap set by Xenos? I wish my eyes were deceiving me, but now I can see clearly that the great regent Aranto was right to send us after your vessel. Wait, seriously? You're upset at us because we brought Cassia, where we all agreed we would bring Cassia, and this ends up being a trap. A sturdily built woman is armed with a pistol, and yet there are signs of exhaustion in her posture. Her face is hidden behind a gem-encrusted three-eyed mask, and her elaborate Navis nobility. Nobilite? Nope. I forget. They've said that word a few times, and I've forgotten the pronunciation. Nobilite, I think. Vestments are stained with the dried blood of and other evidence of recent combat. Too wish to be enlightened about what's happening here. An ambush. How ignoble, yet so typical of Xenos. Address the Great Regent's envoy. How did you get here? Or address the Renegade's envoy. How did you get here before us? No one but Cassia knew the way. I'm gonna address the Renegades. How did you get here before us? Rogue traders are not the only ones who know how to find allies. The Renegade scoffs and looks at the Eldari standing beside him, saying that we should have rid ourselves of this alliance the moment we crossed the Webway Gate. You can trust in no one, least of all the vile Xenos. You will stop defiling the remains of the hallowed ground of our ancestors with your semblance of speech, Mon-Ki. The Harlequin's bright clothes glimmer faintly in the dim light of the system's star, and the sinister grin on his mask only adds to his menacing and aloof presence. The final act will soon unfold, where you will pay for the deeds of your ancestors. Stay put and wait for the puppeteer to pull at your strings. Yeah, so we're dealing with Harlequin. So was this a Harlequin? Because I can tell it's Eldari, but don't really know which version of Eldari. We've met the Asurianis, the Drukhari, and the Harlequins. So was this specifically a Harlequin home, or are they just protecting it because it's Eldari in general? In the same way that when we were in the Drukhari home world, or city, Harlequins were the ones to help us because they were harming Asuriani and messing with the balance, even though they weren't themselves directly being involved, like their people. What? Why are there Xenos ruins where the palace of the Atlas should be? Why is this place coated in impenetrable black mist? I'm suffocating. Cassia clutches her breastplate near where her Atlas is, her voice feeble and trembling. Three-eyed monkey who sees into Shael, the taint of your ancestors has begun to consume your body and soul. Pathetic fools with an insatiable lust for power that is not yours. Ending your misery, but will be merciful. Taint? Do you mean the Atlas, Xenos traitor? Silence, traitor. The Atlas is the sacred relic of the House Orsilio. It is what elevates us above the rest. How dare you? The Regent's envoy abruptly loses her breath with a groan as she clutches her chest where her Atlas is implanted. I refuse to accept this. Impossible. I mean, it's pretty clear that we're dealing with Eldari stuff. For them to be like, no, this is definitely honorable House Orsilio stuff and definitely not Xenos. It's like, you're just lying to yourself. What is this place? What's the taint you speak of? Why shouldn't I simply kill you where you stand? What is this place? We call such planets as this one Crone worlds. They came to be long before my time, back when all of the Eldari were united people whose empire... Oh. So with my question of which branch of the Eldari this belonged to, it belonged to them as a whole before they broke apart. Cool. Back when all the Eldari were united people whose empire stretched from one edge of the galaxy to the other. It is a world beneath the first stars, an unblighted world. I never thought I would come to find one. I have nothing to add to the outcast's words other than my eternal astonishment at your curious troop, Monkey. What is this taint you speak of, Xenos? Do you not see it? The Harlequin's voice booms throughout the ruined temple. When you, Monkey, discovered this Crone world, you tainted it with your crude technology, despoiled it of its relics, ruined all that was to the last stone. Ruined all there was to the last stone. But worst of all, you sullied the soul of our ancestors, reposed in their sacred vessel, the spirit monolith. Yeah. So the Starway Atlas is based upon one of their... I'm assuming this is a much bigger version of their soulstone, what they're calling a spirit monolith. Because I think the Eldari have a small stone they carry on them. For if they die, their soul gets put in the stone rather than collected by Slanesh. Maybe if they're on a home world, it somehow ends up here in some major spirit monolith instead. And then humans just used it for their own purposes. So I get their anger. He points his thin finger at the remarkable crystal floating behind his back, and the Harlequins around you tighten the grips on their weapons. Like a sea of bottomless blue. Cassia looks around her with a stunned expression, her gaze shifting from one Xenos to another. I did not know that living things could exude such saturated hues. I wish I could paint this ocean a different color. Examine the hovering crystal. This enormous translucent stone shares a strange resonance with this place. You can sense the energy emanating from it, mysterious, restless, coagulated. It resembles a giant heart that has been plucked out of its owner's chest. Its crystal clarity is pierced by hundreds of dark veins that have taken root within like a terrible illness. How did the navigators of House Orsilio taint the spirit monolith? The experiments. Cassia covers her mouth in horror. This is where she conducted her experiments, Tisiphone. No, it is not possible. To consort with Xenos is to violate the word of the God Emperor. It is known to all that Tisiphone Orsilio executed anyone who showed any interest in the enemies of humanity. You are fooling yourself. Is that so? Then why is it that every piece of metal or fabric in this place bears our house's coat of arms? Open your eyes. Yeah. Quiet. The Harlequin's tone is mild, but it is not a request. I am unsurprised that the truth is hidden from your gazes, three-eyed monkey, who see into Shael. I realized it the moment I met the first of you, wretched, begging us to help you destroy your own kin. I sensed it within you, our ancestors' call, their pleas, their endless torment. I knew that what you found was a Crone world, and I humbly waited for the day you would lead me to it. What is the meaning behind your words, Ather, troop master? You know the answer already, outcast. You have always known. was that about? What answer have you always known? What experiments did Tisiphone conduct here? Just the Harlequin, what does that mean exactly? Or get to the point before I put a hole in your hideous mask, or just listen in silence. Iliad, what was that about? What answer have you always known? Iliad glowers at Cassia. So that is why your presence makes my soul shrink to the size of a river pearl, and my throat choke in a collar of thorns. That is why your words seep into my soul like poison, leaving wounds that will not heal. There is a shard of the spirit monolith inside you, monkey. Twisted, perverted, invigorating you by making my ancestors suffer. Yeah, that's not good. Alas, you are right, outcast. The ancestors of the three-eyed monkey sought to command the power of the spirit monolith, and yet they suffered failure time and again. Eventually, they discovered a way to harness this power, a terrible way, torturous and unforgivable. They shattered the monolith into many shards and weakened the souls within. And then, the Harlequin trembles with fury, then they placed the shards of the spirit monolith inside their bodies to empower their abilities. I never wished to learn such harsh truths about my own house. Cassia buries her face in her hands, and you feel waves of despair spreading from her lithe frame, which suddenly appears as fragile as glass. Neither Theodora von Valentius nor Tisiphone was infallible, but that doesn't mean we are powerless to rectify the errors of our ancestors. Fair. That is appalling. House Orsilio's deeds cannot be forgiven. I'm not going to blame the current people for the deeds of their ancestors. There's no shame in using Xenos powers for the good of the Imperium. I mean, we have some Xeno items, as well as a Xeno in our company. But I don't think that's the direction I want to go. Neither Theodora von Valentius nor Tisiphone was infallible, but that doesn't mean we are powerless to rectify the errors of our ancestors. You say that only because you wish to soothe me, she smiles faintly. The renegade navigator stares at Cassie in shock. You are more than just a tyrant's heir. You are a successor to a mad heretic, a betrayer of the faith. You must be destroyed, you and the Atlas, once and for all. No. You think the solution is so easy, don't you, monkey? When you die, your souls become captives inside the spirit monolith. This process is deranging to our ancestors who have served as the monolith's guardians for eons. It is equally agonizing to the souls of your dead, and the more monkey souls the monolith absorbs, the more volatile it becomes. The Eldari and the monkey have spent many a dance battling for supremacy within the monolith, and its integrity is waning. You sense it too. The only way to free our ancestors from the pain is to separate the monkey taint from the spirit monolith. My troop is here to perform just that. We will all play our parts today, and when the final act of this age-long tragedy begins, the monkey players will exit this world stage. Sinister shadows dance on the Harlequin's mask as he draws an unknown device from his sleeve. The Atlas must certainly be destroyed, but surely the entire house cannot be expected to serve penance for Tisiphone's crimes. I like that. Is there no way whatsoever to separate the navigator's souls from those of the Eldari without killing one another? Without killing one or the other? Reasonable. Address Cassia, what do you say to this Xenos assertions? Asking her opinion feels valid. Cassia is the inheritor, the one who bound the spirit monolith to the navigator's bodies. Listen to whatever she has to say. She is not the woman her predecessor was. Also, Celia can never hope to redeem themselves before the God Emperor. Serve your justice, Xenos. Ha! No. Will not stand here and let some duplicitous Xenos slaughter navigators of the Imperium. Cassia, what do you say to this Xenos' assertions? Cassia gives you a grateful nod and turns to the Harlequin troop. I cannot change the past, it is true, nor can I change the fact that my house is forever tainted with the disgrace born of Tisiphone Orcelius' hubris. Yet, all of us here today have the power to change the future and halt the unending suffering that is drowning both your kin and mine. You suggested the monkey and the Eldari change the future together? The Harlequin leans forward curiously. I must admit, my leading lady, I'm confounded by your audacity. Go on. My Atlas, Cassia places a hand on her gilded breastplate. If you can free the phantoms of my house from the spirit monolith, guide them to enter my Atlas. Their experience and wisdom will help steer House Orcelio onto the path of truth and allow future generations to avoid the calamitous pitfalls of their forebears. But isn't part of the problem that your atlas is still tied to their spirit monolith? Or is there a separation there? Well, no, there can't be. Because he's commenting on the fact that whenever House Orcelio people die, their spirits join the spirit atlas, which has to be through, or join the spirit monolith, which has to be through the shards that they have in their chest. So it's all one system and connected. Moving them from the primary one to her, I don't think really changes things, at least in my mind. And that sounds like that would just make her more powerful to have even more of the spirits directly tied to her stone, rather than tied to the main stone here. I don't know. I'm not opposed to her being more powerful, but I am somewhat opposed to future heads of the house having this power and the problems it creates. Morag, my leading lady, the shards of the monolith are lodged inside the chest of every monkey, bound to you by ties of blood. How exactly do you intend to return them? I shall use the atlas to sever my subjects' connections to the spirit monolith, and then I shall extract its shards from every navigator of House Orcelio. This artifact is implanted at birth, but that does not mean that the ritual cannot be reversed. I witnessed its creation through Tisiphane's eyes in my visions. I lived it over and over again. Through the memories of the Sithala clan, I can recreate the ritual that will return the souls of your kin to you and save my people's lives. Cassia, you're really capable of this. Let's deal with the Atlas issue after we destroy the Xenos. I mean, I'm not super thrilled with the Xenos at the moment because without even talking to us, they just slaughtered all the navigators besides 3. And I think the only reason the 3 survived is just because their strength of will was strong enough to resist whatever they did. But I don't know if the right call is just to immediately murder all of them. Seldom do humans and Xenos get the chance to resolve their conflicts without violence. I second Lady Cassia's proposal. We'll ask first if she's really capable of it, but I am agreeing with the proposal. Are you really capable of this? I am confident in my abilities, more so than ever before. Well, seldom do humans and Xenos get the chance to resolve their conflicts without violence. I second Lady Cassia's proposal. The Harlequin remains as still as a garish statue for several minutes. Then the mellifluous voice behind the mask says, I'm willing to try, monkey. No! The Regent's envoy draws her pistol. I won't let you destroy the Atlas, even if it is the child's wish. Lady Orcelio, you are too young, inexperienced. You simply cannot comprehend. Seriously? You're still under the delusion that this isn't an Eldari artifact that we're dealing with? Or you're so focused on your want to have the Atlas that you're willing to accept that it's an Eldari artifact filled with Eldari souls that you're implanting in yourself. Either way, what is wrong with you? You address the future Novator of House Orcelio, one who survived the massacre of Uruk V, who has lived following an attempt on her life at the Palace of Dargonis, who has restored her house's stability in what scant time she has been free, while you, all of you, have spent years destroying it from within. You address one who has passed through the tempest of the Sea of Souls to the true Atlas as a rogue trader's ally. Yet still you call me unworthy, don't you? Young, inexperienced, kneel before me and I shall forgive you your insolence. And presumably she's using the Atlas to force him to obey. House Orcelio was always loyal to Novator Tisiphone. Henceforth, it will be loyal to her successor, even if you see fit to lead us down a different path, my lady. The navigator's voice trembles with reverence because of the fellowship, which appropriately was done by Cassia. Plus 65 difficulty modifier, but she still had the 100% chance. Are you done with your performance, Monkey? Then stand aside and do not interrupt. Isn't Cassia supposed to do her ritual first before you do whatever you're doing? Ah, I can feel it again, the tranquility. The ancestral souls have found peace. The corruption no longer endangers the monolith or this world. The Harlequin's narrow shoulders now look completely relaxed. Remember our agreement, Cassia Orsilio. We will soon meet in this place again so that you can give us the shards. And now, be gone from our world, Monkey. Sure, but first I want to do tons of looting, which I'm sure you're thrilled with. We don't need basic bolters. Can I talk to you guys? Troopmaster. You have played your part well, Ellentalk. The performance is ended. Now leave this stage and never return. Didn't you already say we would meet here again so that she could give you the shards? The purified monolith shrine. The purified monolith shines like a guiding star, and waves of calm and relief wash over the hearts of those who step close. Also, you guys are floating in the air. I was not expecting that. Wow, you guys just all say the same thing. Okay.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Time-worn manuscript. There was a time when I believed that I would lead my house to prosperity. In truth, fortune and blessings have long since been passing us by, as if the Koronus Expanse itself is trying to oust the Orsilio children from its bounds. If nothing changes in the near future, all of us will wither like night flowers at dawn, or perhaps face our ultimate fall. Upon my word, the Sea of Souls itself must favor me. During the last jump, I saw into the eyes of a vicious storm. Within it, amidst the ruins of a xenos world, was a treasure, mighty and dangerous, not unlike our own power, and I found a way to reach it. I drive away the memory of our journey and the cost that our house suffered. The ritual alone was no matter. The goal will be worth the price, and due effort is all that is needed of us. By the grace of the Emperor, we made it through that terrible tempest. However, the Eldari ruins appear to have dampened the crew's spirits. Those pitiful commoners talk too much. Tensions in the camp are rising. I should cut out the tongues of those who witnessed the first experiments. This information cannot be allowed to reach the ship. No, not just them. I shall have the Sethala clan dock the tongue of every lowborn. So that's when their policy of cutting out the tongues of all of their servants started.
Victory awaits!
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
According to the faded glyphs, the statue depicts an Eldari hero who created 100 worlds and twice as many stars. I don't like talking over them when they have their dialogue upon doing some sort of action, but Pascal is so slow when he talks.
Operation successful.
The Eldari gods once walked among them, teaching, guiding, protecting them from harm. There were no boundaries between mortal creatures and their patrons.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
This was a piece of an altar that the Eldari used for some long-forgotten ritual. Is that everything collected? I think it is. Kind of looks like there might be something over there, but I don't think so. That's where we climbed up. So we should have fully explored that.
A new challenge for me?
I guess that's that. Let's go back to the ship's bridge and talk to Cassia. She probably has things to say about that.
nice of you to grace me with your presence. I was just thinking back to our journey to the palace of the Atlas. That is, to the world of Xenos. Remembering that most reckless act has enveloped my mind in a whole palette of hues. But when I think of the great risk you took for House Orselio's and my own sake, an azure shawl instantly descends on my shoulders, and amber sparks flash inside my soul. Please accept my sincerest gratitude.
So now you are the full-fledged Novator of House Orselio. What awaits the navigators of your house now? So now the entire power of the Atlas is in the Novator's hands. Yeah, that's what it sounded like, which is interesting. So are you the full-fledged Novator of House Orselio?
You of all people should know that succession is a lengthy and tiresome process. While my entire house is busy preparing for a grand council at which I am to ceremonially inherit the late Tisiphony's title, I have decided to remain by your side, to relish just a little more of this carefree liberty. For as soon as I am summoned to do my duty, we must say our farewells.
What awaits the navigators of your house now?
The Xenos have managed to free the souls of our ancestors from their confinement. The memory and wisdom of those that came before us will serve our house, helping build upon the ruins of the present a firm foundation for generations to come. I believe in that, as I believe in the divine light of the Emperor.
Cassia touches the breastplate where the Atlas is located. It's strange with what we know of Tisiphony that she wouldn't have done that from the start, give herself all the power. I guess she was trying to uplift the entire house. But given that they aren't even aware that the stones were giving them any increased power, and instead all they knew was that well, I guess they wouldn't have fought. The ones loyal to Tisiphony wouldn't have fought as hard for keeping them if they were only a detriment. So maybe they were aware that they gave them bonuses, and now those are gone. It's all just focused around the Novator. I don't know. So now the entire power of the Atlas is in the Novator's hands?
I suppose so, if by power you mean priceless knowledge. As for the special powers granted by the Xenos souls, the navigators of House Orselio will once again have to contend with their own bodily and spiritual limitations. However, I am undaunted by the prospect, for our line and our gene have never been weak. House Orselio will succeed, and soon we will rise again, draped in white and gold.
Well, that note we read last said that their house was waning, and that's the reason she put so much effort into this project, was to... She felt that if nothing was done, they would eventually disappear. So I don't think you're 100% accurate about your line and gene have never been weak. That's a different perspective than Tisiphony seemed to have. Well, I'd like to discuss other business.
Of course. I will try to answer any questions you have.
What does your special sight reveal?
You are engulfed in clouds the color of dark umber. They carry an old pain and doubt.
As if in a trance, Cassia reaches for your shoulder with the tips of her fingers. A strange feeling of relief comes over you, as if your lungs have fully opened, allowing you to take a deep breath for the first time in ages. The young woman notices your expression and jerks away, frightened.
I beg forgiveness for my inappropriate behavior. When I see such oppressive colors, I immediately want to paint them a different hue, to disperse them. I already mentioned I cannot control it, except this time, I thought I would be able to, for whatever reason.
There's no need to apologize. You mastered the power in order to aid another, to aid me. I'm grateful. She shyly smooths her already perfect hair. That's where I must beg my leave.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Okay. So do we actually need to return ever for that quest? That's Adira. Heinrichs? Yep. Cabela. Right. We need to do a trial for Cabela. I've kind of forgotten that that showed up at some point. And then that is for the arbitrator. Let's talk to our master at arms about Cabela murdering someone. Lord Captain, Mistress Cabela is awaiting your judgment. Would you like her brought in? Yeah, bring Cabela here. I want to know what drove her to murder. Let justice be done. I still don't think it's murder. I assume their tarot commanded them to do it. Lord Captain, a murder has been committed on this ship. The victim is one Letard Forius, Chirurgeon Majoris. The perpetrator was apprehended at the scene of the crime, admitted her guilt, and did not resist arrest. Yeah, because she doesn't think she did anything wrong. So there would be no need to resist arrest. Or deny the actions. Cabela appears cold and apathetic. Her unblinking eyes stare vacantly, her expression odd. The Forius clan invoked a ship's tradition and summoned a requiescator to testify on behalf of the deceased. The masked man bows stiffly and decorously. I don't know what that is, so we can ask Cabela how she feels, ask about the requiescator, or just move on with learning about the murder. I'm going to find out what this is. A requiescator, explain. When there is no one to speak for a deceased person in the court, their representative is entitled to seek assistance from a member of the Requiescators Guild. Their duty is to know and remember each and every person on this ship so that they can defend the interests of the deceased and represent them in court. They study the victim's entire life history to gain the most detailed impressions of their personality, deeds, and aspirations. The guild was founded by one of your distant ancestors, and to my knowledge, the Requiescators only exist on our glorious flagship. So it's some unique thing to our ship to have a guild that tries to learn everything about each individual. Is it only like senior members of the ship, or are they literally trying to know everything about every single nobody down in the lower holds and whatnot? Because that's crazy. Let's see just how well he knows the deceased. Tell us what Forius like and dislike about his work. Why is a Requiescator speaking for the late Forius? Does the man not have a family? How do you feel, Cabela? We'll start with that now that we understand what's going on. I'm fine. Cabela turns her face towards you slightly, a whisper escaping her lips. This is just hollow ceremony. Pointless. Yeah, kind of. Let's see how well he knows the deceased. Tell me, what did Forius like and dislike about his work? The masthead lowers, and the man strokes his chin contemplatively. He was fascinated by diseases, injuries, pathogens, complications. The part he disliked was the patients. They would not let him concentrate on that which was killing them. I think from what we know, we only talked to him a few times, but that does seem fairly accurate. Why is a speaking for the late Forius, that word. Why is he speaking for Forius? Does the man not have a family? The clan to which the deceased belonged are wary of bringing accusations against the Lord Captain's companion, and the esteemed Letard never made any courageous friends in his life, having always preferred his work to the company of others. Alright, then tell me about the circumstances of the murder. The eyewitness accounts didn't give us much. The deceased and the murderer had a brief conversation, following which Mistress Cabela beheaded the Chirurgeon Majoris. The witnesses did not overhear any details of the conversation. Is it true that you killed him, Cabela? Yes. Neither the Chirurgeon's death nor her own impending punishment seemed to trouble Cabela. Her pensive dark gaze wanders around the bridge. It was me. Why did you do it? The heartless man took on a burden that was not his to bear. His duty was to heal, but instead he sent people to the Undying One, people whose time had not yet come. He was cruel, and had no intention of ever stopping. Okay, our influence has made Cabela more compassionate. So, is that just leading to her using the word cruel rather than something else? Or if she was more just focused strictly on duty, would she not have turned on the chirurgeon? And the only reason she's doing this is because she's more open to the feelings of others. Who knows? The Undying One never whispered his name. I myself decided to sever his thread, which means you also. You're upset that he sent people to the Undying One whose time had not yet come, but the Undying One didn't whisper his name to you. So you're guilty of the same act you claimed he committed. Although you were adding on that he was doing it repeatedly with no intention to stop. This is a first offense for you, but still, seems like she's done the same thing. I told you it would end like this, but why should anyone listen to little old Jai? She shakes her head sullenly. You are very far away to be chiming in on this conversation. Her colors have changed. The scarlet and the gold are drowning in the rage of muddled crimson. The misty blues of sorrow and the impenetrable greens of doubt. These shades are all in conflict, melding together into a frenetic tapestry. Yeah, so she's confused. Rather than being solely focused on her duty, she's got a lot of other emotions tangling her up, like a normal person. You walked a narrow, dark path across the yawning abyss. It is small wonder that you stumbled. This soul, already mangled by blood and frightening service, has fractured further still. Can it still be saved? Juliet falls silent, leaving her own question unanswered. She was never sane to begin with. Judging lunatics is a thankless duty. The more important thing to address is that her cult is guilty of having drilled the notion of chosenness into her head. The whole sect must answer for this incident. Alright, let's hear from the victim's representative. The masked man's voice is unpleasantly creaky. The esteemed Letter served this void ship and this dynasty for many years. He treated the sick and gained new knowledge as his trade commanded. He saved many, but he himself was not saved. He caused Mistress Cabela no grievance. He never offended her. He merely answered her questions regarding his work, whereupon he was attacked. And so he has the right to demand a reckoning. The death of his murderer would be lawful and proportionate retribution. The heartless man did more than heal people. He maimed them too, tortured them, killed them slowly, and observed. True. He treated the sick and he gained knowledge. The masked head jerks up haughtily. The boots of those who walk the path of wisdom leave bloodied footprints. It is a rule that existed long before the esteemed Lethard did. Whom specifically did Forius torture? Unimportant people. Common people. Doomed people. Requiescator shakes drops of imaginary blood from his hands with disgust. This was the esteemed Lethard's way of thinking. Does a doomed leper care whether the disease or the knife is causing them pain? Is the formula for medicine that would cure distinguished officers not worth the lives of a few dozen commoners turned test subjects? With the knowledge he gained, he invented a multitude of balms, antidotes, and treatment methods that went on to save thousands of lives. When you were brought in and placed on his table, burned by the fire you had passed through, talking about the very start of the game. Yeah, he saved you. The methods he used to keep your body alive had been tested on inhabitants of Loading Bay 8, as had the scar-removing techniques. Were their lives worth yours? The esteemed Lethard thought that they were. His methods were revolting, yes, but also this is Warhammer 40k, and the death of any number of nameless peasants is worth the improvement of mankind and the Empire. That's the general thought process. So the arguments are sensible by 40k standards. Forius' nonchalant disregard for common humanity is worthy of respect. Everything is clear. So we either state he was wrong, he had reasons for what he was doing and it's sensible, or we totally agree with his actions because ignoring the common folk to accomplish the betterment of humanity is worthy. I think I'm gonna go middle of the road. As usual, I don't think I can fully agree with the hardcore dogmatic viewpoint. So, but also in 40k saying that what he was doing was just inherently 100% wrong, I don't think fits either. So his arguments were sensible. The esteemed lettered would be grateful for this judgment. He was a man of logic and practicality. I've learned enough. We humbly await your verdict, Lord Captain. My companion is within her rights to kill anyone on this ship. Her accusers, on the other hand, are naught but dust. Do not touch her, is that clear? There's truth there. She does have the right to kill anyone, including innocents. Like, that's part of their cult, is, though it's when the name has been whispered, they kill honorable good people sometimes. Kamel is not subject to ordinary justice. She serves the Emperor through death, and as such cannot be convicted for a death. I'm still torn because it wasn't a death whispered by the Emperor. Forest Clan will be awarded a generous indemnity for their loss to be paid by me. I think that's reasonable. If there's a caveat of us saying, can you please not do that again? Or talk to us if you think someone is worthy of death that hasn't been whispered. Like, I'm fine with letting her off this time because her actions weren't that off. But I don't want her to just keep doing it. Forrest deserved to die, and I'm not going to punish Cabela for that murder. As for his practices, they are henceforth banned on this ship. I find Cabela guilty, but she will receive a more lenient penalty than death. The murder was committed. The punishment for that is clear. Let the law triumph. Commence preparations for the execution. Obviously not. I think I'm going to go with 3. It's a statement of Cabela did wrong, but she is my shadow. And so her actions reflect on me, and I will pay the punishment in the form of gold, credits, whatever. Forest Clan will be awarded a generous indemnity for their loss to be paid by me. Like, yeah. It's, again, a more neutral response of she wasn't entirely correct in her actions, but not, I don't think, worthy of death. I humbly declare that the esteemed lettered was indifferent to the fortunes, good or otherwise, of his estranged kinspeople, whom you have made rich, and that he would not be satisfied with this ruling. Oh, that's fair. I cannot be put on trial. Cabela's words are barely louder than a whisper, but everyone hears them. She raises her head, face deathly pale, as if she is asleep with her eyes open. None has the right to judge a spinner of death. Another spinner does. Are you a spinner? Yeah, you're the vizier. Only he can judge. Through the vizier's eye, or though the vizier's eyes are sewn shut, one can still read the grief that permeates his wrinkled features. He whispers in a sorrowful voice, "You have strayed from the thread. You have doomed the tenants of the blood-spun web to oblivion. What a sorry end. For me, not for you. For I am compelled to usher my apprentice's soul to the other side before it is my own time to go." Oh dear. So the Vizier has received a statement that Cabela is to die. That's bad. Why have you come here, Vizier? Grant her grim soul mercy, Vizier. Let her die. The blame for what happened lies not with Cabela, but with your entire perverse philosophy. Enforcers, I order you to cull every member of the Bloodspun Web on my ship. I hate both of those options. Why have you come here, Vizier? To take the one who no longer serves, no longer sees the tenants. To give her to him. She is dangerous. To pacify her forever. Such is my duty, and so it must be. So is this the result of us trying to help her be more... I mean, obviously it is. When we kept pushing that she should embrace her emotions, it leads to the cult believing she's lost her way and must die. Yikes. Mentor, why me? Do you truly think the greatest danger to your flock is me? Cabela's voice trembles with pain. Never gave you permission to harm my servant, Vizier. What is happening to her? She is not herself. I mean, both of these. Let's ask the question first. What is happening to her? She is not herself. The second spinner is in the throes of a spiritual alignment that we call doubt. The most terrible ailment, though harmless to layfolk, is deadly to us. For a doubtful spinner will stray from their destined thread into bloodthirsty madness. Doubt brings them to the Undying One before their time. Our service is demanding. It requires clarity and a sense of purpose, and she no longer possesses. Long have I sensed the seeds of anxiety in her, but I hoped her reason would prove stronger and prevail. Alas, now I see the mark of despondence on her. Alas, I know that I am not mistaken. I mean, couldn't she just leave the cult? Like, okay. Then she's no longer part of the cult, but she's still in my retinue as a very powerful, trained assassin. She just no longer has the authority to kill in the Emperor's name as a Bloodspun Web member. Seems like a fair way of handling it. If she has to leave because she's mentally not in the right state, there must be a way to help her. How would one heal the soul of another? Domin, she is fighting a losing battle inside her mind, one that she has all but lost. We cannot enter her mind. We cannot reach out to her, a hand to her. Although, we can enter her mind. We've done that ritual before, where she let us in. You could. A thread binds the Domin and his shadow together. A rare thread, a shared thread. Will that connection be enough for your souls to enter into harmony? I must attempt to save her at the very least. I mean, this is kind of our fault because we kept pushing her to not be as robotic and mechanical in her choices, to think and feel for herself. I must attempt to save her at the very least. The Vizier turns to face towards Cabela, who seems withdrawn, her spark snuffed out. He whispers, "Then seek a steward of souls, an artisan who will put you both in a psyker's trance, allowing your minds to become one. You have a chapel full of astropaths, Domin. One of them will surely do you that service. See that their guidance is strong, for inside her soul you will encounter monsters. A doubt-ridden mind is a dangerous place." Alright. We need a psyker to help us. Obvious choices would be Heinrichs or Adira. Probably not Adira, though, because she's unsanctioned. Or, as he says, the astropaths. We could go down and talk to our head astropath. So are you no longer doing your dagger stabbing yourself in the hand animation. It seems not. Huh. Weird. Not now, Dome Ignatius. I must first clear my mind. Let's try talking to Heinrichs. My guess is we do just need to go down to the... Where? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong section. My guess is we need to talk to the astropaths, like I said.
To what do I owe this visit?
Yeah. Alright, let's go down to the astropathic chapel. See what can be done about Cabela. Perhaps we ought to take Cabela with us, I suppose, which means I'll need to level her up. We'll drop Ulfar to bring her. Hopefully it doesn't immediately go into a fight. As it's done before. Alright, it did not. Alright, let's level you up a ton. So skills-wise, Medicae is of course your primary. Looks like Demolition and Carouse are also ones we focused on. Who do we have for Carouse? Abelard is super good. I mean, same with Demolition. You're not going to be our top choices for either of them, but that's fine. Have I marked anything? Not really. We've already chosen all the ones I'd marked. I don't know. So agility is your primary stat. Weapon skill and strength are probably also good ones to get up. We'll go with weapon skill because it's an odd number. Nothing marked there. Blood-covered cells are hard to pull off. Just not enough of her attacks have historically left large amounts of blood around. Whatever. We'll go for it. What was Dispatch? Assassin makes an attack with the current weapon against an enemy. Cannot miss and deals 50% more damage. Alright, probably will never use this. Alright, and then Exemplar. That would be very good because I'm betting you have a good dodge. Only 108 actually. You feel like a dodgy character. First melee attack doesn't matter. Your whole focus is making tons of attacks per turn that are not heavily damaging. It's more of a burst fire as opposed to a single shot kind of thing. Ooh, that's good. Stacking reduction of armor with every attack is great for a rapid attack. That one sounds great. Every attack gives you it doesn't say stacking, but just the reading of it sounds like it stacks. Any damage the character deals is increased by +1 for every attack they have made at this combat. The fact it doesn't use the word stacks, even though they pretty much always do, is weird. Just slowly going through all of these so I can... It'll be faster next time to find the ones that I actually like. I don't want her to be a priority target ever. That's not bad. Boosting her strength. I mean, currently it wouldn't even be a full +10, but after enough levels and gaining health, maybe we'll get there. Oh, +0 weapon skill and ballistic skill. How wonderful. Boosting your damage when you lose wounds is good because your class makes you lose wounds yourself. So we can sort of intentionally trigger that. I don't think you actually really have deflections. That doesn't help. I don't know your critical hit chance, but it's probably not bad. Okay, I think those are all of the ones that seem extremely good. But the stacking +1 damage feels really good. And now we need to go through all of these talents. These are the first tier talents. Maybe. I don't think I've really ever used Veil of Blades. But now that she's got a reasonable amount of health, maybe it's worth it. Ooh, more damage based on agility is very good. I've been trying to boost strength to get more damage. There's a lot of good stuff in this tree. I mean, that would make your Medicae +20, which is nice, but not critical. More damage. Again, that's what I recall being her limiting factor. She just didn't do enough damage. Lots of hits, but they just weren't hitting very hard. So anything I can do to boost her damage or increase the amount of blood that she's throwing around so that we get more stacks of those, which also helps her abilities, would be great. Ooh, Death from Above was nice. Getting an extra charge every time you dodge could be good. Boosting wounds is alright. Okay, there's a lot of good choices here. I think I'm going to go with that one. Medicae is your primary skill, so we'll boost that. Okay, now I need to choose even more. These are the second tier archetype talents. Why have I not marked any of them on you? What was I doing in the past? +1 damage just doesn't feel good. I think direct damage is unblockable, which is nice, but meh. I don't know how often enemies are dodging. What is vulnerable? Character suffers more damage from the assassin's attacks. Okay. It's a weird effect. I gain dodge reduction minus target's dodge divided by 2 lethality. How's it used? Remember seeing it, but I don't remember how it got used or how important it is. Yeah, again, we can gain lethality. I don't know how often we're doing 5 direct damage in a single attack. What was Dance Macabre? I don't remember. Do think it's one I used a lot. Part of me thinks that might be the running through enemies move, but I don't remember. We don't use her often enough. It's been ages, which is why I have infinite levels to go through. So lethality is equal to our dodge, or dodge reduction. And our dodge is 108, so we should be regularly attacking with 100 lethality, or greater. Maybe I should focus on getting more direct damage first, and then we can boost things that benefit off of direct damage. Or should I be working on lethality? I guess I don't know what lethality is for. But that's 7 direct damage whenever I use that ability. That feels pretty good. I think that does damage when we charge through an enemy, but I can't say that with tons of confidence. So we could boost our toughness to another whole number just to get more health as an option, or just keep boosting our agility or weapon skill. Agility is our dodge initiative. But I think we have taken abilities that allow it to add to damage. So we'll probably never boost strength again at this point. And we have no common talents selected as favorite. Of course not. We boost characteristics. I don't think... Probably not skills. I don't think any of those matter. But I could boost your agility again here. Combat Master wouldn't be bad. You're never going to use a shield. More parry would also be good. Not going to give you a heavy armor, heavy weapons. Or shields. This one never felt great to me. Increasing your wounds by half the character's level rounded up. Our level is... yeah, level 35. Wasting a talent to get 17 hit points. Well, I guess everyone else is level 40 something, but still. So then 20 hit points. That's not terrible, actually. Maybe. I think we're at the point where it is starting to feel okay. Plasma, power armor, power weapons, shields. No. But yeah, let's start with Combat Master. Oh. You get an additional attack this turn if you kill your target. Tempting. I mean, the wound cost is rough. How's that calculated? It's based on your level. Oh, so it's just going to keep going up in cost. And I don't think our health is going up significantly every level. So that's rough. Yeah, we'll go with Blood Oath. Medicae. I guess this doesn't matter. You don't actually need willpower. I selected it because you don't have ranged weapons, but meh. I think regular healing is going to be valuable for you. Let's see. Alright, we can't boost your agility again, so we'll go with weapon skill. More parry, more health, or more dodge. I'll give you some parry. Which is already pretty high, but I'm happy to increase that. Can't do Medicae again, so more demolition, I suppose. Plus 1 AP is fine. I wonder if this stacks with restoring 10% of their maximum wounds at the start of a turn. Does that count as healing for the first time in a round? Don't know. Alright, we are almost fully leveled up. There we go. Finally got her leveled up.
It's about time.
She's probably a lot more powerful suddenly. 132 health. That is also impressive. Why is Earliet's health so terrible? I don't know. As you approach, the choirmaster's blindfold lights up with a bluish glow. Your lordship seldom comes here without a reason. How can I be of service to you today? Are your ghosts? You put me in a trance with Cabela. How are your ghosts, Wise? The choirmaster looks away embarrassed. The mistake of the past no longer haunt me. Not in my dreams or in reality, but I still remember. I remember every single one of them. Can you put me in a trance with Cabela? I need to get inside her mind. Synchronized trance is a complex telepathic practice. Things can go awry unless both participants trust each other and have a strong spiritual connection. However, I can sense that you do. I would be honored to be your guide during the ritual, Lord Captain. But remember, it is easy to get lost in another person's thoughts, and the fears of others house monsters. I am prepared for the risk. Put us in a trance. May the God Emperor aid you, Lord Captain. So we now have to figure out how we can get Cabela out of whatever situation she finds herself in. Somehow put her on a healthier path. Sector Koronus Expanse. Location, the Von Valencia's flagship. Material, the Book of the Dead, the Holy Scripture of the Cult of the Bloodspun Web. Author unknown. A shackled mind cannot comprehend the wisdom contained herein. Therefore repeat, he is death. Release your breath with each word. Cleanse your thoughts, he is death. Truth lies in death. Free your soul from the body's cage. Become nothing, he is death. Now that your heartbeat is a perfect line, and your vision is shrouded in dusk, you have almost reached a state of purity and balance. Heed. No human will see death before their time. That is the delusion of the living. Heed, to which we say, a strong spirit can travel there and make the journey back. Heed the tale of the great Domin Ignatius, who descended into the kingdom of the dead to retrieve his shadow. He is death. Birth and death are one. We are snatched from a place of warmth and sent blood-covered into an unfamiliar world. Dying is the same. The Domin too learned this as he opened his eyes and found himself on the lower decks, lying in a cold coffin. He beheld his ship drifting through nothingness, an adamantine giant's corpse, a skeleton moaning from the winds of entropy. A tempest of rust was gnawing at its plasteel bones and twisting its vein-like cables, while machine oil oozed down its bulkheads like lymph. Had the Domin been alone, he would have lost his way inside the ship's mangled bowels, but a guide reached out a hand to him. The spirit of old Veni Zachary had loyally followed the Domin to the other side. In the labyrinth of the hereafter, the piercing gaze of Veni Zachary discerned the thorny path of the hall to the halls of death. The loyal servant swore to protect his lord. Together, the Domin and the Veni made their way up through the malformed frame of the ship. From the cold catacombs of the lower decks, they traveled up into the fires of the ship's crematorium. Tongues of flame licked at them, yet they did not burn. Columns of the dead marched towards them to be turned to ash in fire, and the Domin and Veni walked toward the dead in turn. At the great gate of the crematorium, their path was blocked by the executioner, a sentinel made of metal spikes and coiling blades, with roaring flame and pale, bleeding bodies writhing within. Such is a blade that has lost the strength of the tenants, a murderous monster no longer driven by faith, but by dark desires. The Domin saw the fight was inevitable and struck the first blow, aiming for a weak spot, trusted in his nimbleness, and tried to slip past the monster, or banish the monster with a fervent prayer to the Emperor. Were you rolling these checks? I guess the plus 60 helps. I don't think our awareness is 137. Is this using our... No, this can't be using our party's rolls because they would have much higher checks. I guess we'll use awareness. It is our best. We've got 100% on all of them anyway, but aiming for a weak spot, striking the first blow does feel like us, as well as a fervent prayer to the Emperor. We'll go with the awareness. The blades and spikes fell, clanging and turning to rust, for bloodlust weakens the blade, and the Domin had proved as much. And a card of his tarot appeared in the Domin's hand. It was the God Emperor, and the first doubt was dispelled. He is death. He is death. Veni Zachary led the Domin out of the hot furnace of the crematorium, and they walked past the columns of the dead. Frayed was their attire, their bones scraped against their augmetics and scratched their decrepit flesh. They were moaning sorrowfully, and the sound was made memory fade away. The Domin saw that the dead were carrying an ark, and inside the ark was a thing, a lost child cocooned in silk, shedding crimson tears for the unknown. The unliving carried her, as servants would carry their lady, and loudly lamented their fate. Such is a blade, mired in broodings over a lost past, a helpless child paralyzed by regret. Lest he sink into the soft rot of their wails and perish, the Domin sternly ordered the apparition to vanish, pressed onward, pushing the dead away with his strong arms, or spoke gently to the lost child. I like this option, even though we don't have 100%. Spoke gently to the lost child. I think I'm going to roll it, even though I'm going to be so upset if we get the 5% fail. We succeeded, and the lost child's tears were dried, and with a meek sigh, she returned to nothingness. For mercy, too, can be the blade that brings peace. And a card of his tarot appeared in the Doman's hand. It is the star, and the second doubt was dispelled. He is death. He is death. And the old Veni led the Doman to the upper decks, and the Doman entered into the officers' chambers. A web of veins adorned the walls, entangling the precious trophies, and statues were bound in intertwining sinews. And high upon the balcony, the dismembered judge wailed as he attempted to reassemble himself with his pale hands, but his movements merely tightened the tangle of the flesh, turning the chamber into a snare. Such as a blade tangled and trapped in misunderstood teachings, a hapless creature that does not know its place in the world. In order to continue on his journey, the Doman helped the judge by returning each of his organs to their proper place, attack the obstacle of flesh in his path, tearing it apart and destroying it. Or Lore Warp studied the tangle of flesh for secret signs that would show him the way. We will use Lore Warp. And the Doman read the words and spoke them, and the judge's body began to rebuild itself to a new design, as beautiful as it was terrifying. For nothing is impossible when a soul has grasped the hidden wisdom. And a card of his tarot appeared in the Doman's hand. It was the rogue trader, and the third doubt was dispelled. He is death. He is death. The flagship's bridge was draped in skulls and webs, and pale souls of the dead flocked to the foot of the throne upon which sat the undying emperor, the protector of mankind. May his praises be innumerable. Starlight shone coldly in the eyes of his skull, and the galaxy rested in his mighty hand. The Doman approached his throne and went down on one knee, offering a prayer to him, greeted him with pride and dignity, or spoke brazenly, demanding that he vacate the throne belonging to the Doman. No, no, no. We will go down on one knee, offering a prayer to him. The Undying One heeded the words spoken to him and lowered his brow of bone, acknowledging that he had heard the prayer as he had heard the Doman's other prayers before. Then the Undying One spoke, and these words are to be preserved in your heart as the greatest of prayers, for they sprang from a source that was and is the holiest of all things. I know you, Doman, I know your heart, and the fervent faith that dwells within it. I know your readiness to serve me, and I accept it. Your spirit has been weighed and found worthy. The Undying Emperor, may his praise be innumerable, said no more, and it was the Doman's turn to speak. And speak the Doman did, saying that he had come to find his shadow and rescue her. The skeletal fingers stirred, and the Doman's shadow loomed out of the darkness beside his throne. She was bound in black chains and asleep. The Undying One was silent. Now was the time to offer a payment, as death would give nothing away without payment in return, and the Doman promised the Undying One, if we had Iconoclast Fanatic, we could choose that. Himself and his soul. The life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One, that he would honor him with a sacrifice of myriad lives, or heretical, to spare him from ruthless execution if he surrendered the Doman's shadow at once. No. Interesting that this doesn't have a requirement of being a certain level. It's just a heretical choice that anyone can choose. I'm going to go with the life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One. I don't know. I'm thinking about that, and it's because I have people on my crew that are considered to be against the Imperial Code. But do they call themselves enemy of the God Emperor? And I think the answer is no. The life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One. I mean, there is the himself and his soul. Like, we've already offered ourselves to the God Emperor. We are dogmatic. So that's fair. I don't think that would immediately kill us, because then the game ends, which seems like a silly choice. But But no, we'll go with the life of any calling themselves an enemy of the Undying One. Those were true words, for he valued his chosen servants, who accomplished incredible feats and brought him great trophies. The Doman was one of them, by nature, and this was known by all. Then the Undying Emperor leant over the Doman and drove a skeletal finger right into his heart, and he pulled at the scarlet thread of his soul, and the thread trembled, stretched to the limit. It was then that a revelation came to the Doman. A life must be paid for a life. And a name was revealed to him, Naki Erebus. That was the life the Undying One demanded as payment. I don't know that name, so I don't know who I'm agreeing to kill. That was the life the Undying One demanded as payment for and the Doman agreed to pay the price. Who is Naki Erebus? Agreed to pay the price. An oath of blood was sworn, and the chains fell from the Doman's shadow, yet she remained silent and motionless, for she saw no sense in leaving the halls of death, to which the Doman told her that he had been waiting for her, had missed her, and had come to claim her and keep her. Reasonable that her duty to the Undying One and the Doman had not yet been fulfilled. That in beholding death as one of the living, she had received a gift of unparalleled greatness. That her congregation was suffering without her protection and the Undying One's mercy. She is our romance option, so I'm going to go with I've been waiting for her, missed her, and had come to claim her and keep her. And the eyes of the Doman's shadow opened, and she replied that she too had been waiting and had missed him, and that the Doman should claim her and keep her. He is death. He is death. The Doman and his shadow left the bridge of the Undying Emperor. May his praises be innumerable, and their path was strewn with his tarot cards. Among them, the Doman saw the card of the Executioner, who carried out sentences and brings a violent end to that which he did not begin. Among them, the Doman saw the card of the Lost Child, who was torn from her roots and her support, but carries within her the still hidden seeds of a promise to recover them someday. Among them, the Doman saw the card of the Judge, who weighs and separates guilt from innocence and passes his verdict. And they descended into the lower bays, lay down in a stone coffin, and closed their eyes. And the Doman heard the Undying Emperor's voice promising that they would meet again, and soon. And thereupon their journey ended. And so it was that the Doman, having seen death before his due time, traveled there and back to bring us these tidings and wisdom. Be free of doubt as you walk among the threads of the blood-spun web, for those threads lead to him, as does all of existence. He is death. He is death. As the shock of another's mind's jumbled thought stops constricting your throat, you find yourself staring at Cabela's pale face. It has settled into a strange expression. Doman Ignatius? I spoke to the Emperor. Look at the choir master. Are you well, Cabela? Do you remember what happened? How we met death? I spoke to the Emperor. That was not the Emperor, Lord Captain. It was merely Mistress Cabela's vision of him, a figment born out of her imagination. Alas, none among my fellows are powerful enough to bring you the voice of the protector of mankind. Alright, that's fair then. Let's look to the choir master. Breathing heavily, the choir master covers his face and whispers, "It is over, Lord Captain. We are in the world of flesh again." Are you well, Cabela? Do you remember what happened? How we met death? I remember stumbling. I remember my doubt in the truth of the tenants throwing me off my feet. I remember deciding to kill, and not because I had heard his whisper, but because I deemed it to be right. Death whispered my name, for a spinner without a thread is like a sky without stars. They would drown in their own soul's darkness. But you have reminded me of who I am, and that my shameful weakness must be extinguished. Well looks away. This Naki Erebus is the payment the Undying One demands, the price of redemption, the price of freedom. Who is this person? Where are they from? I do not know. Help me find them, Doman. Your factotum oversees archives that contain many names. Let him find the one that death has spoken, and I will pay the price that was set. For I feel with all my essence, the death of Naki Erebus is the key. the answer to my questions. Yeah.
Follow my lead.
Don't know who that is, but I guess their name has been spoken. Let's head back to the bridge and talk to the factotum. Although their name was spoken by the Emperor, but it wasn't the real Emperor, it was her vision, her view of the Emperor. So does that make that name truly someone worthy of death? I don't know. Alright. High Factotum. The High Factotum, Janus Danrock, greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? I must locate someone named Naki Erebus. Find whatever information you can. Erebus, the clan name is familiar. If I may ask your lordship to give me a little time, the flagship's archives being as vast as they are, I will spare no effort in finding Nakai Erebus as soon as possible. 15 minutes, that is not long. High Factotum pokes a triumphant finger at a data slate. I found them, your lordship. The Erebus family are a lesser Voidborn clan. They serve in the boarding teams for many generations, spilling blood in the name of the dynasty, in the service of her ladyship Theodora. Erebus has displayed impeccable heroism on several occasions. Unfortunately, the clan was all but wiped out 2 decades ago during a confrontation with enemies of humanity. For their valor and sacrifice, Lady Theodora granted the surviving members of the clan noble estate privilege and the right to settle on the capital world. It is not common for the Voidborn to settle on a planet. What about Nakai Erebus? Yeah, it's not common for the Voidborn to settle on a planet. Gravity is merciless to the Voidborn, but that does not mean that they are incapable of adapting to it. Living on the capital world is a reward worth putting in the effort for. And what about Nakai Erebus? The name Nakai appears in reports. At least a dozen different women bore it over several centuries, but there is no data on any living person with that name. The head of the Erebus family will likely have more information about the past 2 decades of their clan's history on Dargonis. Then I must go to Dargonis. I will send the dynasty's representatives on the capital world an instruction to summon the Erebus family to the palace. Contact the Curiosity Merchant from Dargonis Palace. Cyber Beast needs new equipment. Probably not. I shall await your instruction, Lord Captain. Okay, so we need to go to Dargonis for her mission. Let's talk to her at the moment if we can. While she's still sorting herself out, probably.
Take heed, Nemo.
Nope.
Our blessed Domin. May the...
Nothing new. So we finished what was going on with Cassia here. So where is Dargonis? Dargonis is up here, right? Yeah. So we could travel to here in a few jumps. Or probably just head up that way rather than trying to get here and then take the safe route. So we'll make this path safer. Alright, we've read that one before. And up to Dargonis. Yep, usual team seems good. Cabela is obviously coming with us. Is this the way to the palace? Yes. Maybe. I mean, normally we start so close. Normally we start basically in the palace. So it's weird that the quest had me start outside the palace. At least when I clicked on the icon the quest was tied to. Okay. I guess let's just head up. We probably need to talk to you, as usual. Your lordship, I have been told that you summoned the Erebus family to your court. Your subjects in question, along with their 4 offspring, have already arrived at the palace. They will attend the reception honoring your return to the capital world. Announce that the reception is starting. I am ready to receive the Erebus family. As you wish, your lordship. Yeah, same team. Your lordship, allow me to introduce the next guests. Protectors of Dargonus from the void beyond, between the stars. Randor and Xioni of the House Erebus, along with their heirs, Mattis, Lorno, Rono, and Lumi Erebus. Glory to the dynasty. Officers Randor and Xioni Erebus both make the signs of the Aquila, reverent expressions on their battle-scarred faces. Beside them are their children, raised to love the God Emperor. They are mild-mannered, but fascinated by their new surroundings. Judging by their uniforms, the 2 eldest children are already members of the Dargonus Planetary Guard. Your lordship, it is a great honor for House Erebus to be invited to your palace. There's a glimpse of distinct anxiety in Randor Erebus's eyes. Xioni touches her husband's palm ever so slightly, gives him a reassuring nod, then addresses you. As a token of our greatest reverence for the Von Valentius dynasty, allow me to present you with a modest family relic of the Erebus clan. May it serve you faithfully. Voidborn's pride. Whenever the wearer kills an enemy, their Medicae increases by +20 until the end of combat. Stacks. Okay. Just no limit stacking Medicae. And I think she has abilities, as well as Pascal has abilities, that increase based on Medicae. How is House Erebus faring on Dargonus? We are delighted by the favor shown to us, your lordship. Life on the capital is much calmer and slower compared to the ship, and I have almost gotten used to the gravity. The prosthetic supporting Randor's spine creaks under his clothes as he attempts an awkward bow. I mean, there's still gravity on ships, isn't there? Like, I recognize you're Voidborn, but surely, I mean, it might be lesser gravity, but the fact that you need prosthetics to support your spine due to being unused to gravity feels weird. Cabela whispers, just barely audibly. A crowd the domain's attention. The domain's attention, and this being their first visit to the palace, they are nervous. You must give these people time. Let them get accustomed to these surroundings and to your presence. Let them wander around the hall and taste the food. We will talk to each one individually. As the Erebus's parents notice a blood-spun web cultist at your side, they exchange glances. An almost imperceptible tension hangs in the air. Are you finding the reception to your liking? It is beyond all our expectations. We could not have dreamt of something like this, to be honest. Even just permission to settle on Dargonus and continue our service on the dynasty's capital world was a most gracious gesture on Lady Theodora's part. We did not expect any further attention. Xioni smiles, gently, but her fingers are fidgeting with her heirloom pendant. Let's enjoy the evening. Join the guests. We will talk later. Of course, your lordship, we are available for you at any time. Hello, Randor Erebus. Or Zione Erebus. Your lordship, allow us to thank you once again for the honor. Though we left the flagship a long time ago, it is a pleasure to be in the presence of a Lord Captain again. Zione looks at you with a pensive, unblinking gaze, her eyes darker than the night sky. We realize that your attention to House Erebus was brought on by some manner of circumstances. Please, let us know how we can be of service to you, and we will do what you require. A keen observation. Randor's eyes meet Cabela's as she speaks, but he is not intimidated. On the contrary, the corner of his mouth curves upward slightly, and he gives a respectful nod. Tell me about the Erebus family. Sadly, we are but a shadow of what was once a much more numerous clan. Most of our kinspeople fell in combat, but we believe the Erebus' last battle is yet to be fought. We raise cohorts of successors. We teach new recruits and our own children the ins and outs of void service before they have even set foot on board. The new generation are learning to serve in their own way. Our eldest son, Mattis, is on the planetary guard. So is Lorna, our eldest daughter. No, Mattis wasn't the one. What was it? Nakai was the name. Mattis was one of the sons that's here, that's why the name's familiar. So is Lorna, our eldest daughter, though she has devoted herself to medicine, and to my great surprise and elation, our younger children, Rono and Lumi, have found their vocation serving the God Emperor and the Ecclesiarchy. Do you remember Theodora well? I won't lie, your lordship, we never saw her in person. We did not have the rank. Even her favor was bestowed on us in the form of a document penned and delivered by a scribe. But we remember her orders, and they were reflective of all the courage and fervor of a true rogue trader. I'm not going... So... we were told that we should wait and go slowly about this, so I'm not going to immediately ask them about Nakai. Enjoy the evening. We'll talk to a few others first. May the Golden Throne protect you. Talk to the other children and see what's going on, or if they have anything of interest to talk about.
None shall stand in my way.
Hey, Mattis. Your lordship, Senior Lieutenant Mattis Erebus at your service. The tall, dark-haired man enunciates sharply as he salutes you with great fervor. Breathless from his own audacity, he blurts out, I hope I don't sound too bold, but if I say I've always dreamt of serving on your flagship, would it be too much of a modest... for a modest servant of the dynasty to hope that the Lord Captain might graciously make him part of his crew? Cabela's soundlessly appears at your side. Her face is reflected in Mattis's dark eyes. As their gazes meet, they both freeze in astonishment and lower their heads. If Cabela had enough to eat growing up, if she had not put her body through grueling trials, if she had not used intoxicants during the cult's rituals, you might have said the two bore quite the resemblance to each other. Is Cabela part of their family? Now part of me is wondering, is this task to kill someone? Like, if Cabela was part of their family tree, maybe that is her original name? Yeah, is she Nakai? That's what I'm wondering. Was the task we were given to still kill her anyway? I don't know. Or some close family member if we find out that it's not her. Mattis looks away first. Pardon my tactlessness, mistress. He clears his throat. I have the strangest feeling that we have met before. Cabela takes her time to reply. You were born on a world and absorbed a hive sense. I would have remembered someone who smelled like that. I do not know you. Do you believe yourself fit to serve on the flagship? I appreciate the fervor, but my ship has no shortage of skilled warriors. Do you believe yourself fit to serve on the flagship? I have served dutifully in the planetary forces, your lordship. Governor Drivestem has even awarded me a medal for defending the Southern Hive against the Xenos. I may have been born on a gravity-bound world, but my heart belongs to the void. So your reasons are your own unflinching courage and your love of the stars? There is another reason, your lordship, but I'm afraid you will find it laughable. You see, I've always known my destiny awaits me on the flagship, because ever since I was a child, I've had the same dream over and over. A dark-haired young woman walking barefoot along the decks, and me following in her footsteps. I would run, but could never catch up to her. Yeah. Might be symbolic. Kill her old life, or humanity, become a weapon. Could be. My father told me he had felt something of this sort when he met my mother. Mattis's eyes are taking Cabela's features. He smiles sadly. I believe my future awaits me there. I have no problem with you coming on board. Very well, I accept you into my service. This is truly an honor for me, Lord Captain. I will not let you down. Glory to House von Valencius. Let us go, Cabela whispers softly. I have heard and seen all I need to. Also, you should be following me. And these are the remaining 3. You're pressing down too hard on your quill, Lumi. Look how thick your lines are. And the ink hasn't dried. Mother will be livid when she sees this stain on my cuff. Why don't you watch what you're doing instead of lecturing me again? How many times has Master Rogbard said, apply the base colors first, and then the darker shades? The Erebus children are leaning over a sheet of parchment, arguing passionately. A small, finely made box next to them contains quills and a few bottles of ink. Cabela's shadow hangs over the young Erebus's. Her unblinking gaze carefully studies the unfinished drawing and grows gloomier still. Your lordship, we are honored to be at the Von Valencius Palace. I am Lorna Erebus. A pale young woman, slightly shorter than Cabela, smooths a lock of her dark hair nervously as she stands between her younger siblings and the spinner. The scrap of parchment must be incredibly special. I see no other reason for your brother and sister to be ignoring the rogue trader. Let's look at the drawing. The parchment is an unfinished family portrait, showing the Erebus parents and their 4 children. The young artist's skill is impressive. But your attention is drawn not to the fine lines and shading, but the sketch of a dark figure added in by a still more masterful hand. Our family was once renowned for their courage, but Dargonus has no need for boarding teams, so our parents enrolled Rono and Lumi in the scriptorium to study religious painting. That dark shape in the portrait, you drew it in, did you not, Lorna? Who is it? Lorna purses her lips and looks away. Mother says the Erebus clan has a secret guardian that protects us from the shadows, and I thought it would be unfair to draw all of us, but not them. Silly, I know. Enough. Cabela's cold, raspy voice sends a shiver down your spine. Yeah. Oh, and it just cuts us off so we don't get to ask the family about Nakai anymore. Cabela's cry brings the Erebus family back together. 6 alarmed faces, 6 people standing shoulder to shoulder like a fortress wall, and one lone grim figure opposite them. The shadow peers into their dark eyes, the same as her own. Their pale lips the same as her own. She clenches her fists, ignoring the steel claws that pierce her palms. Enough. I know who Nakai Erebus is. Her unblinking gaze turns to you. So do I. Lie, and so do I. What's going on, or just observe silently? I think I'm fine with observing silently. Nakai. Zioni Erebus looks at Cabela with scarcely concealed fear, but her husband notices her reaction and shakes his head in warning. No! Mattis screams. How could you keep something like that to yourselves? How could you... I wish I'd gotten the context of asking about Nakai. Lorna hugs her younger brother and sister, who cast frightened glances at their parents and the sinister woman with the wry smile. Nakai Erebus. Cabela throws her head back and her laughter resonates through the hall. Nakai Erebus is me. So all this time, Mattis, your dreams were showing you. You mentioned a guardian in the shadows, did you not, Lorna? You lied when you said the Emperor had taken Nakai. They didn't tell us that because we didn't ask. You mentioned a guardian in the shadows, did you not, Lorna? An unseen shadow, a servant of death. Mother called her Nakai, but I knew she was talking to someone she knew. So all this time, Mattis, your dreams were showing you the woman who was destined for me. Not the love of my life, but my sister? Mattis shudders and stares intently at Cabela. I didn't know. Do you remember me? I remember what I was permitted to remember. The tenets of the web, prayers to the Undying One, the names of poisons and intoxicants, the names of the name the Vizier gave me, but you? No, I do not remember you. I do not know you. You lied when you said the Emperor had taken Nakai. We'll assume that we got that information, and I'm sad now that we didn't. We did not lie. We would never have dared. Rander looks over at Cabela, at her dark hair, her scars. Nakai. A few years before Lady Theodora sent our clan's survivors to Dargonis, the blood-spun webbed Vizier came to our bay. He said the Emperor demanded the next firstborn of the Erebus clan, that he needed a new spinner. 6 months later, we had twins, a boy and a girl, with eyes darker than darkness itself. Zioni smiles tenderly at Cabela. You were born first, Nakai. And with sorrow and pride, we gave the Vizier our most precious treasure, for that is how one honors the God Emperor. Difficult choice, but a righteous and devout one. Yeah. Or were you thinking giving your daughter away to the death cults? Refrain from interfering. A difficult choice, but a righteous and devout one. Most difficult one in our lives, your lordship, but we knew our daughter was alive and serving the faith, and as mysterious and bloody as the ways of this service were, they were ways that pleased the Emperor. So if I'd been born a minute earlier, that animated corpse standing before you today would have been me? Mattis recoils from his parents. But why doesn't she remember anything? Why was she never told? The ritual of releasing the burden. Cabela steps up to her brother, who is so completely like her, and yet so thoroughly different. New Bloodspun Web recruits undergo it in order to forget their past and devote themselves to the Undying One, and so that their souls do not suffer. Tell me, Mattis, is your soul in pain? It only hurts because I never knew you all these years. Cabela turns to you sharply. We are here to settle our debt to the Undying One. We now have the name, the person, and the explanation. I know what must be done, so why do I feel pain from an unseen wound in my heart? Why am I, for the first time in my life, hesitant to sever a thread? All this time I've been wandering in the labyrinth of my mind, but the answer never came to me. What must I do, Doman? How do I end Nakai Erebus? Nakai is of the past. When those who remember her die, she will die too. In other words, kill the family. Not really thinking that's the right call. Reckon with the past by spilling the blood of those who betrayed you. Do they still hold Nakai in their hearts? Then tear them out. So again, kill the family. No. You cannot kill your past. You can destroy the people who are connected to it, but are you truly prepared to murder innocent people just to cut yourself free? I do not kill on others' orders, neither should you kill Nakai. You are Nakai Erebus, the Emperor's will is clear. For the choice is yours and yours alone, you are the Undying One's spinner. I don't like really any of these. Like, I can understand her separating herself from that whatever life Nakai Erebus had, but the idea of somehow killing all of these people will somehow free her from being Nakai Erebus doesn't seem right, but killing herself also seems for. I was hoping there would be a just cut yourself off from that past view. Maybe give up on the humanity that she had been heading towards and re-embrace being a weapon and nothing more. Killing them would kill her soft side that made her drift. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with 3. There is also the idea that what the astropath told us, that we didn't speak to the Emperor. We were just speaking to her view of the Emperor. And therefore what he said is not necessarily the Emperor's will. It's her view of the Emperor's will. And therefore, killing people based on that... I'm going to go 3. You cannot kill your past. You can destroy the people who are connected to it. But are you truly prepared to murder innocent people just to cut yourself free? Which I guess is kind of going down the same option of don't kill Nakai. Turn against what we promised death we would do, which isn't great, but I hate all of these choices. Cabela, dismayed, looks first at the Erebus family, then at you, then at her own reflection in the steel of her dagger. I will not kill. Must I follow my orders when my entire nature shrinks from it and my heart screams is wrong? This is not my will. I could have had a family and a future full of righteous service, a chance for a different life. That was taken from me. Who I would be and how I would serve was decided for me. She clenches her fist. The Vizier forged me into a weapon and stained it with blood. He named a mark. He gave a mission. Come, Domin, we must descend into the Temple of Death, where I will report on my task and ask the Vizier a single question. Why me? You have grown into a fine woman, Nakai, and though you may be lost now, I know the Emperor will point you right. We are proud of you. The corners of her eyes twitch as though she is in pain. My name is Cabela. Yeah, just telling your parents I'm not Nakai anymore. You know, don't call me by that name. Where's the doorway out of here? Go over here. Nice plotline. Yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes. But the fact of the matter is we didn't kill Nakai Erebus, so not sure how that's going to end up shaking out. Love that you hate the choices, hard choices. Yeah. The game is good at it. Which is, you know, what makes a game good. If everything was just a simple right versus wrong and they give you choices, but it's just, there's no real decision to be made, or so many games that don't really have real choices. It's just different versions of yes or different versions of no that they give you an option to choose. Like, it's not as interesting as when I guess we can't go down to... Okay. Maybe we just talk to Cabela. The fact that they are making quest lines where there aren't any great answers, because often in life there aren't good choices. Like, compromise,
Take
no,
heed.
you don't automatically win.
Our blessed Domin honors us with a visit. The one who delivered this ark from the curse of your existence.
I am ready. Let us present ourselves to the Vizier.
Domin.
With ominous resolve, Cabela drags the steel claw down her face, leaving behind a line that splits it in half. She steps forward without another word. Hey, Vizier. So, things haven't been going perfectly with what we've been commanded to do. Just letting you know. The Vizier whispers a prayer, his masked face turning toward the Undying One's image. Instead of his usual threadbare clothes, he is wearing elegant armor of bone and dark gold, marked with purity seals. He turns as he hears your approach. Cabela, I have been hearing your footsteps for a long time. In his whispers. Dominacious, the Lord of the Ark, it is good that you are here with her. It is right. The Undying One has blessed this union of light and shadow. You greet us clad in armor. Are you preparing for battle? We've learned how Cabela came to be part of the Bloodspun Web. We have met her family. Cabela has been cured of her affliction. I don't know if that's 100% true. You greet us clad in armor. Are you preparing for battle? Today is a special day. I have only donned this armor once before when I was a second spinner. That day, I ceased to be second. But I have remembered the weight of this gold on my shoulders and chest through all the years since. Cabela opens her mouth, but the Vizier stops her with a gesture. You will understand, my daughter. You will understand soon. So, when he was a second spinner, on the day that the Vizier died and he took over, that was the one day he wore this armor. Is he planning to kill her, or is he planning for her to kill him and take over to be the new Vizier? That's the only thing I'm seeing going down with that. We have learned how Cabela came to be part of the Bloodspun Web. We have met her family. The Vizier looks away for a brief moment and nods to empty space. The Undying One's congregation sacrifices the blood of its blood. That is how spinners are brought into this temple, but only those who would serve him of their own volition stay and spin the Bloodspun Web, as Cabela did. Your words are dishonest. The ritual of releasing the burden erased me, made me hollow. What will of my own I had, you took from me, and filled me with yours instead. The Vizier's voice becomes astonishingly gentle. My daughter, do you believe that you have only served him because I set you on the thread of the web? Do you believe that you have no faith in him? You know that is not true. Cabela grits her teeth, hissing. You used my trust to make me your tool. Of course I see no other destiny for myself now, but that does not mean it was preordained. I guess the only option I have now is Cabela has been cured of her affliction. This is true. No longer do I see anguish in her soul, second spinner. I am ready to receive your report. Have you accomplished the task the Undying One himself set for you? The task remains undone. I refuse to complete it. Condemning a life to oblivion is wrong for those who worship death. No one will hurt my family. No one will hurt me. Let the Undying One punish me if he so wills it. Silence falls for what feels like an eternity. At last, the Vizier responds with the sadness of an all-forgiving father. That is one of the threads as well, my daughter. I understand you. A tired sigh escapes the Vizier's chest. A harrowing sacrament, a ruthless ritual. I am relieved that it is nearing the end. Everything is coming together just as he revealed to me. Perfection has been sculpted. The affliction I nurtured has been vanquished. The choice has been made. So whence all the sadness, my daughter? The Vizier shakes his head, suddenly looking very human, his shoulders drooping, and he extends a hand toward Cabela. So everything is... perfection has been sculpted. Everything is occurring the way he foresaw and has intentionally sculpted it to go. Sacrament, are we being dragged into another ritual? What do you mean the affliction you nurtured? Was it you who doomed Cabela to her suffering? I felt it was me pushing her that direction. The Vizier was also pushing her in that direction? You snatched her from her family. Do not call her your daughter. Seems your plan has failed. Cabela did not carry out her last order. No. Feels like that was his goal. What do you mean the affliction you nurtured? Was it you who doomed Cabela to her suffering? The Undying One laid the thread, and I served as guide. The meeting with you in your world, Doman. The hunt for Nemesite, her grim and ghastly doppelganger. The comprehension of her flock's pain. My assignment stirred anxiety in my daughter's soul, as they were meant to. And the feelings that exist between you, those supersede all else, perhaps. Could I have prevented them from springing up? Smothered them while they were still weak? I could have, but I chose not to. Sacrament, are we being dragged into another ritual? A great ritual. Many decades ago, the Undying One revealed through a tarot reading what must come to pass, and I heeded. The Bloodspun Web's path towards gaining its new Vizier was then conceived. A path of discovery, devotion, dying, and resurrection and purity. Cabela's predecessor stumbled on that path, and so did the next one. I waited. I have lived long past my due time. The Undying One has been waiting for me for so long. Wow. So there's some problem with the Bloodspun Web as it currently exists. And so a path has been laid out for it to be torn down, killed, resurrected in purity. But he needed the right new Vizier. And so he's just been going through new Viziers until one finally reached the point that Cabela's at. Whatever makes her unique, she has passed where all the others have failed. And he's just been carrying on, living long past his time, waiting for eventually a second... what do they call them? The second... whatever, for her to reach whatever point he foresaw, so that she can now take over as Vizier to resurrect the Bloodspun Web into whatever state it's supposed to be in. You are cruel. I can understand where he would see her as his daughter. If he's raised her basically since infancy, which is what it sounds like. Carefully nurturing her and guiding her to this point that he foresaw. I don't think I'm against him calling... I mean, even Cabela, when she met her own family, told them that her name is Cabela. Like, she doesn't see herself as Nakai. And I don't think the plan failed. But yes, you are cruel, Vizier. Maybe intentional, maybe it was guided cruelty, but there was cruelty. Yes, it was difficult to be cruel to someone you love. Have you come to know that, Doman? Do not call it love, Mentor. I was loyal to you, and I deserved better. I'm not going to go with either of these. What will happen now? Cabela will be the new Vizier. Her journey to the Undying One and the choice she made will be reflected in the Bloodspun Web's new pattern. As for me, I will go to him, as I have long waited. The confusion and alarm in Cabela's face gives way to anger and horror. Her face distorts like a crumbling paper mask as the emotions wash over her. Too many emotions for one whose soul has gone dead. I have not yet done all that you expect me to, have I? That is correct, my daughter. Can you feel it? The proper way this burden must be passed? Cabela's voice falters. She clenches her teeth, trying to keep herself from bursting into tears. I don't want to kill you. Is a simple transition of power not possible? Why must there be bloodshed? It's the Bloodspun Web. Of course there's bloodshed. Everything about them involves bloodshed. Let that which must be done be done. Cabela, you must not commit patricide. I mean, it's not really patricide. Do not demand yet another sacrifice from her vizier. We're going to ask it even though it's a dumb question. Why must there be bloodshed? Because great things are not achieved in small ways. Because if you worship him, you sacrifice to him. Your sacrifice to him must be great as well. Blood is our gift, the only thing that is truly ours, the only worthy way to worship and honor him. I think the only reasonable option is, one, let that which must be done be done. Still, it is unfair. Cabela's face has become a death mask. Vizier's voice is full of sorrow and humility. Yes, for I am stronger than you, and my high spinners stand with me. Those who swore an oath to protect me and not outlive me. And he too stands with me. His face will emerge out of mine. And may those you chose when you set out along the threads of the web, your comrades, your domain, may they stand with you. Fight. Fight with no regret. A bitter sigh falls from the old man's lips. Farewell, my daughter. Let us honor the undying one. So when he talks about death and resurrection of the blood-spun web, we are killing all of the others. It's not just him. The high spinners will stand with him and we will stand with her. Let us honor him.
I won't heed your cries of mercy.
Yeah. We are just going to kill the entire death cult. And that is the way to start over the blood-spun web. In whatever this new form is that he foresaw. Wow. Oh, you can't get all the way back there. Why not? Oh, I guess it's because I'm all the way at the front, of course. Well, we'll pull ourselves off to the side, I suppose. Juliet, you can go back there. Let's pull our melee characters back. They can easily move forward. And that should allow Castia to get a nice blast with her third eye. 1,400 health. 700, 700, 700, 700. Just the regular death cultists are 200 health. Madness. Alright. Let's do the usual.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Light ourselves on fire. Orchestrate flames. Run and gun. I'm kind of liking this line. Although part of me is wondering if I went like here. Oh, I can't melt it anyway. Never mind. And let's just light you on fire.
Suits my purposes.
0 damage. Well, that's cool. I'm a huge fan of 0 damage. Why did you take 0 damage? As well as you. Creature suffers 5% less warp and mental damage for every ally alive. Oh. Any damage dealt to the Vizier will be avenged by allies still in combat. I don't know what that means. When targeted with a ranged attack, this death cultist spends 1 stack of evasive pirouette, dodging the attack, and moving to a random adjacent free cell. Huh. When he reaches 9 stacks of Blood Blessed, this ability allows him to restore all of his AP and MP and gain the Idol of Blood Rights effect until the end of his turn. Whenever he deals damage, he is healed for the same number of wounds. This effect lasts until the end of his turn. Right. So, I don't know how many allies you have, but the fact that each one is giving you 5% less warp damage, and you probably have, well, you don't have 20 allies, so you should have still taken some damage. And why did you take no damage? Let's go to one of the ones that wasn't hit. Do you have some sort of special ability that just says, like, the first attack in a fight you take no damage or something? I don't think so. You also have inner prayers. So we need to take out you guys without using warp powers. Huh. So I'm thinking I could use this Inflame to make his burning damage even higher and trigger it, but my guess is it'll still do no damage.
Already done.
Oh, never mind. It did do a little bit of damage. So he will be taking burning damage on his turn. Okay. Alright, back to you, Cassia. No, please don't hit Ignatius. There we go. That's not bad. Doing a little bit of damage, but more importantly, it should stun.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
It's not your turn. It is my turn. I'm tempted to just keep doing this. I can still hit a large amount of the group.
If I may.
Even though it's not huge damage, it's something. Alright, so front line. We'll go with like this.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Then for backline.
Me. If you insist,
That's
Lord
fine.
Captain.
And then for our crit bonuses, sure.
Isn't this a job
And yeah,
for the
let's
serfs?
turn the turn over to Ignatius. They are taking damage. So let's see what you can do.
In the name of House Orselio, I shall prevail.
Okay, you are able to do damage to them. Not sure why in that first turn it wasn't really working. But I'm wondering if I could go somewhere like here. Could I melt it through? Not all of them. Is there a position where I could get all of them? No, then we missed that one. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. That is a good melt-a-line. Almost everyone is on fire? Yeah.
Suits my purposes. Nothing me was your biggest mistake? Nothing I can't even stand a chance.
Okay, Vizier is down. Thread is unbroken. The Undying One has not yet reached out his hand to me. Where did you go? Because your body just vanished.
Not a problem for me.
Alright, let's start
Don't have time for this.
lighting the rest of people on fire. Or just killing them, you know, as you do.
Already done. Opposing me was your biggest mistake. All too easy.
Okay, you're not dead yet. Oh. We've lost... Yeah, whenever the game goes into a weird state mid-combat, because normally I would be able to use my ability here to activate our motivation, whatever thing. There's one of the abilities I use often that gives me another attack. And I can't. So let's move forward and light you on fire.
I shall not fear.
And then inflame for those that are all on fire,
Value has been lost.
which somehow gave me another attack.
Suits my purposes.
Yeah, we also don't have our Melta ability. So I could do our Heroic Act, because Heroic Act has triggered. I could do it for the Inferno, but I can't use my ability that I want to use. If I go into inventory and then back out, there we go. That corrected it. So we've got our warp meter back and our momentum. That's the word I always forget.
My time is now.
That'll give me one more attack. Are those the last two enemies? Just these two? Well, might as well Melta through both of you. Hello? Okay, no text boxes for that dialogue. The Undying Emperor, who has question mark health and goes after every single one of our turns. I don't want to fight the Undying Emperor, if I'm honest, with question mark wounds. The Undying Emperor uses Visions of Death or Liturgies of Death ability, targeting the furthest enemy. If there are multiple possible targets, one of these he will target with one with the highest percentages of wounds. If there are still multiple possible targets, one will be selected randomly among them. Undying Emperor will reduce the damage of the next successful attack against him by 100%, also dealing a small amount of mental damage to the attacker. Alright, what is Vision of Death? Mental damage to all enemies in the area and removes all their stacks of Blood Blessed and Blood Stained. Targets have to pass a willpower resistance test with a -20 or suffer even more mental damage and fatigue, disturbed, or perplexed for 3 rounds. Undying Emperor deals mental damage to the target. That target must pass a willpower resistance test the minus 50 penalty or suffer the lethargy effect. Wow. I don't like any of this. Also, I don't like the fact that we are attacking the Undying Emperor. That feels not good. Yeah, he's difficulty 6, but we fought lots of difficulty 6 enemies. What's soul depulsion? Oh, right. Reduces the next attack by 100%. Sure. But this is counting as a new combat, I think. So... although we still have Reveal the Light going on us. We still have Voice of the Emperor, or Voice of Command on us. Come back. We cannot be targeted again by Voice of Command because we already had it on us this round. That's awkward. And Voice of Command has already been used on us. So she can't target us again there. Oh, it's not a new combat. Inquisitor's Tenant has still been used, so I can't use that to boost our Heroic Act up. I wonder if we get our morale up, if I would be able to use it again. Hard to say. Well, you've got way too many points, so we'll do Kill Zone Stratagem. For one round, all allies in the area gain more cover efficiency. Reroll on all failed skill tests. No. I could move her and then have her use her third eye. Both those kill movement. If I put you, say, here, then you could hit the Undying Emperor without risk of hitting anyone else, while still being in full cover. Yeah. Alright, so you took 0 damage there, but you are on fire, which is always great. I guess I probably should have put her in a position where she could see someone to give free turns. But I am not smart, and so I did not. I think we just need to move on and see what the Emperor does to us. Yeah, she can't boost herself. Okay. It's your turn, Undying Emperor, like every other turn. I mean, that didn't seem to do that much. I could try and light him on fire. It'll give him a bigger burning effect. Zero damage again. But you are burning a lot more. Then melta him. There we go. That's some real damage that didn't affect your question mark wounds. Is there something I'm supposed to be doing here? Because this doesn't feel like combat is the right way to win this fight. Is there something else going on that we can interact with? I mean, arguably we could just try and run. But it feels like this isn't a fight we're supposed to win since I did literally no damage to him. Another 400 damage on him. Toss out a run and gun. We'll move back into cover and then give you another melta to the face. I mean, I think in some ways we are struggling in vain. We'll increase the fire damage you're taking. And orchestrate flames, so you stay on fire. Man, I have no idea. I mean, significant damage. You're all bloodied. Does that count as the blood blessed effect? My guess is no. You probably have the blood stained, which penalizes you. Yeah. It's not great. Alright, perfect spot for you. Mark him as prey. Pull the bold. Piercing shot. You have no cover. Do analyze enemies on you. Did you miss? Seriously? You had a 95% and you rolled a 99. Fantastic. We'll go in my sights. So on your turn you get another good hit. Assuming we make it to your turn. Oh. Yeah, I feel like we're not supposed to win this fight. So he should have an opening here, I think. Hard to really tell where that opening exists.
A dance
But it looks like here. We go with the two smaller weapons or the great sword. 8 to 12 damage. Those are terrible. 14 to 20 is still not amazing.
Let your soul be purged.
I mean, a lot of good hits.
Trust me.
Aim for the opening.
As the tenants demand.
Another free strike. I can do Danse Macabre to go through your square.
As honor ordains.
Okay, you are now marked.
The shadows will. My blade whispers your name.
Like, I'm doing good damage. It just doesn't seem to matter.
As honor ordains.
Oh, I should have done Raining Blood. Didn't think about it. Oh well. Oh, Iliad's down. Yeah, I'm not sure what this fight is about. All right, Pascal. Let's move you in. Analyze enemies. Reckless Abandon. Huge amount of damage, but you now do 56% more damage to him. Could do Intimidation. Just to try and intimidate him. Then where it hurts. And go for the bleeding attack.
Death is a blessing.
I think we managed to kill him. Whatever that means. Brutal. Clad in the Vizier's armor, Gabella is staring at the spot where, just a short time ago, lay the body of the man who raised her. Her shoulders are shaking, and her head hangs low, but no tears are to be seen and no sobs come from behind her mask of dark gold. Suddenly, she throws her head back, and a desperate cry full of pain, fury, and regret echoes across or around the temple. This is not the Vizier, nor Spinner you see before you, just a daughter who has lost her father. Iliad shakes her head and whispers quietly, to foster a bond just to sacrifice it in the end, to kill your father just to assume his place. Your kind's fear of what you perceive as weakness is, in truth, your greatest weakness of all, one that leads your spirit into a trap with no escape. I know this is a ridiculous question to ask, but how are you doing? Did you see the God Emperor in the flesh? I don't think so. Am I to call you Vizier now? You immediately don the Vizier's armor. Is it helping you to embrace your new role? I know this is a ridiculous question to ask, but how are you doing? The tenets of the web teach us never to regret or hesitate, but I could never have imagined that I would one day have to make a choice this painful. I did what had to be done, but that does not quell the pain. I know he is in the Undying One's hands, but that does not soothe the grief. I know I sought vengeance against him, but I feel his absence already. You've done your duty to the God Emperor. It was his wish as well. Sorry, losing a mentor is hard. He was a crazed old man who lied to you and used you. Do not feel sorry for him. Now, you've done your duty to the God Emperor. It was his wish as well. It was his duty, but he was reluctant to leave me to the very end. I saw it in his eye as his eyes went dim. Did I just see the God Emperor in the flesh? Was that how you saw the Vizier, Domin Ignatius? You saw an image of death in him, but it was only an image. Fumes of the sacred intoxicant blessed our ritual, but what you saw and killed was a mere man. The Undying One does not come to the living. We come to him. What did the Vizier look like to you? Younger. The way he was when I first saw him. I was younger too. It was as though we were facing each other in a training match like we used to. Am I to call you Vizier now? I do not want to lose my name as my mentor lost his, but no spinner will ever speak it again, for I am their Vizier. Yet you are my Domin, and I am your shadow. Let me remain Cabela to you, at the very least. You immediately don the Vizier's armor. Is it helping you to embrace your new role? I think so, yes. Cabela reverentially touches a drop of blood on the dark gold. I sense the weight of this sacred vestment, the weight of the Vizier's burden, and the decision I must make. From this day forth, my burden. Her voice is full of somber pride. What will become of the blood-spun web now? Cabela raises her head to peer at the Undying Emperor's dark eye sockets. We will not stray from the tenets. We will not forget our predecessors' sacrifices and our Vizier's teachings. Service to the Undying One is our life, for he is duty, he is death. Your influence has made Cabela more compassionate. Okay. So if we hadn't done that, would she have forgotten the sacrifices and the teachings? I don't know. It's not always clear when I've changed the path that something will take or not. Cabela studies the spinners. Her voice thunders under the temple's vault. Bow now before your Vizier. And 100 whispers reply, Death salutes you. So does Cabela in fact have new armor that she's wearing? Vizier's armor. Bygone Sorrow. Death Cult Assassins 8 or more stacks of Blood Blessed. They gain 1 more action point and +1 attack per turn. That's very good. More dodge and parry if the wearer is not in cover. I'm uncertain if that is new armor or if that's what she was wearing already. Oh well. Let's do our looting first, as always. Spinner's Ritual Vestments. More dodge if the wearer's not in cover. Strength bonus wounds. No. And nothing special there. Death Cult Patent Bloody Blade. That is almost certainly better than what you're currently using. No. It's better than Singing Retribution. Reduces target's parry. Plus 3% to the wielder's critical hit chance for each attack they make. Which stacks until the end of the round. I think I'm fine with keeping one of these. Probably. And then for Cabela, we will replace Singing Retribution, which is you. Alright, let's loot the rest. Light Spinner's breastplate. Which is still, I think, nowhere near as good. High Spinner's gloves. Increases the critical damage of where it hurts. Including the damage from the attack itself and from extra instances of damage over time effects. I think we could give that to Pascal. Death from above deals an additional 0 mental damage. Each target suffers +1 stack of fatigue. What's the 0 coming from? Resolve. Okay, so in combat, that would actually be higher. Don't care about that, but we'll collect the gloves. Do you have a cloak right now? You have pack of reagents, which is giving you +2 to bleeding, burning, and toxin. I'm gonna take that cloak instead. And then Pascal, what gloves are you wearing? +10 strength. Increases critical damage of where it hurts, and so it's only critical, but increases it by +50 is awesome. Nothing of note there. I'm also unsure of where all the other spinners came from, because I thought we just killed all of them. We don't need a second one of those cloaks, because we don't have a second spinner. Or someone who has death from above. I think that's all of the loot. No, we have one more bit over here to grab. There we go. Now, time to level up again. We never gain versatility. I'm not certain that Archmilitant was the right second tier archetype, but I don't know that any would have been better. Yeah, I don't know if any of these are going to be terribly important. I mean, that's not terrible. More damage is okay. And that'll be fine. We'll start with exploit weakness. Can't boost our willpower, unfortunately. So I guess we keep boosting agility? Why not? Abelard. Looks like the two that we had selected before is interesting. You've already grabbed. Alright, weapon skill we've already brought up. I think probably strength then is the other main one to keep boosting for you. Toughness would be a tertiary option. Cassia, what are we doing with you? There's ebb and flow. Inescapable zone wouldn't be bad. Ooh. Allowing allies to reposition combat tactics areas could be good. Yeah, we'll go with inescapable zone. Because we use the kill strategy regularly enough. And I guess we'll boost fellowship. Reducing armor would be good. Ooh, increasing your armor would be good because Pascal historically has gone down. It's been a while, but he's gone down pretty regularly compared to others. Ooh, plus 30 to lore xenos. Probably not needed. but it's something. There's been a few tests that we've struggled with for Lord Xenos. Let's boost your intelligence. Anything else of interest? What is the catch effect? You're not bad. We'll go there. Ballistics is, of course, your best, but we've already boosted it. So, agility or perception? Probably perception. Finally, Cabela. Still don't really know how you fight, because that fight did not last long enough. I have put some of these favorites on yours. We'll go weapon skill for you. There we are. Call that good. The spinner, his face covered in carved bleeding glyphs, makes a respectful gesture of invitation. Let me show you the way, Doman. The way to what? The path to where the lay people dwell is complex, web-like. Let me show you. Alright, show me the way. We'll head to the bridge. Yeah, that was a weird fight. But it's done. Let's go talk to Cabela.
Domin, sacred overlord of the Ark, my protector and friend. How may the vizier of the blood-spun web, your shield, shadow, and blade serve you?
Cabela stands with her shoulders confidently squared, her dark eyes burning brighter than stars. That's it.
May the
No further dialogue about the quest, just her stating that she is the vizier now. Huh. So that's that. We still have a couple more companion quests we could work on. And then we have going over here for the main quest, I think. No. The Sara was here. The Sara is for the words are failing me. Our new companion from the new DLC. I was thinking that was this quest. Nameless Star for Quetzal Temur. No, that's him. So you're the new Arbites. That's the word I was searching for. So that's the Arbites quest. Which does look like it's going to lead to additional areas to explore. That's for Heinrichs. That's the main quest. We don't know Adira's quest. Where to go for that. That is continuing the rumor that we'd been going to of dealing with xeno stuff and mutations. We're in the area. We might give that one another shot. Because it keeps moving every time we visit. Because it just points out a new location to go to. During the period designated the night shift, the air throughout the ship suddenly turned stale. This is where Argenta has nightmares? Yeah. The check priest reported a brief malfunction in the Geller field. Isolate the chamber. It's fine. Let's see. Probably here. Unidentified beacon. The homunculus prism residing on the ship receives the incoming signal from the planet's surface and shows the next set of coordinates. Augurs determined that, as before, the beacon on this planet is set up in the middle of a fenced area with a multitude of living creatures within. Send a scout team to the beacon. The third beacon turned out to be encircled by an appalling gallery of grotesque exhibits cobbled together from a huge quantity of mutilated bodies. Massive statues pierced with giant black rods depict the battles of unknown warriors with non-existent creatures. Each of the several dozen such statues is created from quivering flesh and still living bodies groaning in agony. Alright, bring the beacon to the ship. Once the beacon is torn off of its platform, a scarlet lilac impulse runs along the giant rods that pierce the statues of flesh. All the unholy figures are gripped at once by a blinding blue flame, as the air is filled with incoherent screams and the smell of burnt meat. Is that the end of that quest? Homunculus' gift. On the third planet in the middle of the pasture for maimed mutants, another xenos beacon lay waiting, greedily soaking up pain. After making contact with it, the prism displayed a short message from the homunculus addressed to an archon. A fascinating journey full of hand-picked, tormented victims was drawing to a close. A lavish bounty awaited the one who made it to the end. The prism gave the coordinates of a death world in the Hundred Dreams Crossroads. Okay. Right here. Well, let's, I guess, wander around. Alright. We've read that one. Kind of wish that it wouldn't keep popping up the same ones we've read before. Warp breach. Ungodly fiends spread sorcerous disease. Walk the lower decks. We'll just send more loyal servants with holy gifts to purge them. Rather than going through that fight again. Looks like here. Unforeseen event. Well, that doesn't sound promising. Or unidentified beacon. Beacon is probably more likely what we're looking for. Augurs have detected a container with unidentified cargo on the planet next to the Drukhari beacon. Many kilometers around this zone are filled with huge, likely dangerous xenos life forms. A very strong emission of unclear nature radiates from the beacon itself. The cargo can only be taken from the planet by force with the help of an assault squad. Send an assault squad to the planet's surface. Expecting resistance, the assault squad disembarks some distance away from the beacon. To the soldiers' surprise, the gigantic mutants surrounding the beacon turn out to be incapable of even moving. Like carpets of formless chunks of flesh, these groaning and bleeding creatures cover the earth for many kilometers around. Something unseen brings them unbearable suffering. The emissions of the beacon, previously detected by augurs, turn out to be a cruel trap for the assault squad. Acting on the soldiers' minds, it sends them horrible visions of brutal deaths and excruciating torture, preventing them from coming closer to the beacon and the cargo. The images of such abominable fates appearing directly in the brain would have brought ecstatic pleasure to a Drukhari, but even those warriors, tempered by battle, can scarcely withstand them. Strength 100. Remind the soldiers that humankind is capable of fighting off even the most terrible xenos threat, provided they find the inner strength not to yield to it. Guided by the Lord Captain's words, the soldiers resolutely advance on the beacon. The Rogue Trader's speech helps them withstand the beacon's horrors and remain sane. By activating a switch on the beacon, the soldiers finally turn off the torturous emissions. Let's bring the beacon and cargo containers aboard the ship. We get Pain Grip. All the wearer's melee attacks inflict bleeding. 4. All bleeding effects inflicted by the wearer have their power increased by 2. Neat. The removal of the beacon from the platform proceeds as planned. Nothing happens afterwards. The gigantic groaning carpet of mutants continues lying where they were, neither exploding nor burning up. The Voxmaster reports that the prism from the homunculus' laboratory shattered into a myriad of needles. It flew apart in every direction with a loud snap, gravely wounding several crew members. And that seems like the end of that storyline. Let's see what's going on with Unforeseen Event. Unless we've already seen the unforeseen event. We have not. According to the ancient chronicles, the maps handed to you by the Pilgrim, this icy planet used to be a prosperous Imperial colony. However, a sharp change in its trajectory brought upon by a warp anomaly raging in the system caused the world to distance itself from the local star. In less than a decade, the planet's surface was completely encased in ice, sealing a wealth of machines and artifacts of the Imperium inside a glacial tomb. Let's use augurs to scan the planet. It looks like the Pilgrim's records were true. Your augurs managed to locate the shapes of several Imperial buildings under layers of snow and ice, though one can only guess what purposes they used to serve. Develop a plan for changing the planet's climate without support from the Imperium, or leave the world encased in ice. Let's try to change the planet's climate. After deliberating, the senior officers unanimously decided that only the Adeptus Mechanicus possesses the technology required for a project of such a massive scale. The Rogue Trader should contact their representative in the Koronus Expanse and secure future cooperation. Okay, so that's going to require us to go to Footfall, where the Adeptus Mechanicus are. Where their representative is, I suppose. Yeah, we aren't doing the fight with the elusive legend. I don't know if Owlcat has put out a patch, but apparently there's a bug where if you have 3 ships on your side of the battle, that's what causes it to not save after space battle. And so when we got the Heartless from the DLC, that broke our space battles. At some point, I'm sure they'll fix it. I don't know if they have yet. So I'm just going to hold off on that quest. So, yeah. Looks like we have 2 companion quests. And I might go up here to Heinrich's. We'll leave the DLC, Arbites guy, for now. Alright, we took a bit of damage. Let's repair. And then move on. We will try and avoid a collision with the unidentified vessel. As usual, we succeeded as usual. Might have been a warp mirage. Let's see. Forces from different decks. Translucent with spiders. Yeah. That's fine. We've seen that before. Let's make this safer. And head over. While we're here, let's chart new routes. Any new stars? There were not. Oh, we're gonna have a space battle. No. Lord Captain, we've arrived in Phaeton 4's system. Our translation from the warp was a little rough. A net loss of about 500 souls on the middle and service decks, and God Emperor only knows how many wounded. But that's only the half of it. The brain boxes on the augers are sending me reports that aren't doing my mood any favors. Real space here got more holes than a sieve, and all our sensors are playing up. It's gotta be sorcery, Lord Captain. Distorted star. If I was you, Lord Captain, I'd do what I came here to do, right sharpish, and clear out, while we still can. I've seen the likes of this before in this same region. Maybe your sorcerers will be able to explain it better, but here's what I know. Shit like this never ends well. So we need to make planetfall on Phaeton 4, which we don't know which planet it is, but my guess is it's that one. So let's check out the two other planets and the distorted star first. Ice World has no name. We could get some Promethium. 7 Promethium is pretty good, and we don't have an unlimited source. And we've got a lot, but I'm willing to use one of our 18 extractiums on that. And then, oh, okay. The surface of the star shimmers with a myriad of hues. The dance of colors fascinates any who dare glance at it. The playful color patterns appear on the vessel's augers in a wide variety of spectra, from infrared to ultraviolet. Every helmsman or every voidsman knows that such emissions are dangerous to organic matter, and Master Helmsman Ravor asks the crew to resist the desire to admire the star. Not everyone manages to follow this advice, and some crew members suffer from nausea and headaches. Leave the view from the captain's bridge as is, or order the shutters of the bridge's panoramic windows closed. Pros and cons to both of these. If something's going on, I want to be able to see, but if we leave it open, there's potential for more harm of crew members. Let's leave the view. The admiration and malaise afflicting the Lady Navigator spreads to the rest of the compartment containing her chambers. Even without looking at the star, Cassia is subject to its corrupting influence. Its brightness blinds and exhausts her inner sight. Well, that's probably not great. Maybe we should have closed the shutters. And nothing going on here. Well, I am inclined to end the stream here. It's a little early, but we're right at Heinrich's quest, and so I'd rather wait so we can do it all at once, as well as I'm a little scared to do a space battle. I don't know if and when a patch will come out, if it might have already happened, but giving Owlcat another week can't hurt. So yeah, we're gonna end the stream here. Next time we'll go in, do this space battle, hope the game saves, and then carry on with Heinrich's quest, hopefully. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you guys then. Bye.